Okay, cool. You sure? Yeah. You know, you can, anytime now.
Oh, it's not that interesting, really.
I was just wondering, you know, you made the movie with no narration. Why did you decide not to have, you speak like 3 words in the whole show. Why?
Oh, well, I never like narration in documentaries. That just as a general rule. So, yeah, my voice is there, but I guess on some small level, I'm a character in the film. So that's why I allowed it to be there, and it helped explain a few things.
His voice is always there. he doesn't have to actually talk out loud. His voice is there. That's
Certainly
a good
made it
thing.
harder to not have narration, but I think it would have taken out of the emotion, I guess.
So you go back to the thing you were talking about. Are you guys a political band?
By default. I'd rather not be, but it happens sometimes.
Well, just some, well, let me start. Do you have a question out there from the audience? Anybody? Yes, there's a microphone. Can you step over there to the left, please? Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I'd like to ask you guys, you just talked a minute about the Clash and Springsteen. Obviously, you guys have a strong Skinner connection. First time I saw you, you did an Alice Cooper thing. Could you guys talk a little bit more about some of your influences? What were you listening to when you were younger, and what got you kind of excited? I mean excited as far as the music went.
Elton John, baby. Elton John.
Oh, there's always Hall & Oates.
Aerosmith when they still made good records. And
What, Iron Maiden?
I mean, really, everything. I was so lucky that I've just talked a minute ago about how my dad wasn't around a lot because he was working all the time, but he got tons of records, and his records were always there, and he had thousands of records. And as a little kid, I'd come home from school, and when I was doing my homework, I was downstairs with the headsets on, grazing through his vinyl collection, and if something had a cool record cover, then I pulled it out and I played it and I listened to it, and so I took that in from 8 on, and my first job was a record store, and I spent every penny I got my hands on buying records, and that was the greatest education in the world, I guess. It didn't get me a job for a long time, but eventually it did. So
You mentioned album covers, so let's talk about Wes just a little bit. He's obviously an amazing talent, but I don't remember an artist as a visual artist being so closely connected to any band except for maybe Peter Max and that fly-by-night outfit, the Beatles, but that was only one album.
Well, when I was growing up, it was Hypnosis. In the 70s, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, all their album covers were by, Hypnosis. And I guess there was actually a couple of people, but in my view as a kid, it was this, secret cult that made cool album covers. And I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And I remember then, someday when I grow up and I make records, I want cool album covers by Hypnosis. Of course, by the time I grew up, they were gone. And then we met Wes, and it was all even better.
Is there a question out there?
Yes, sir. Thanks. Thankfully, I'm real comfortable behind a mic, so there should be no problem. I've seen a few of your shows, and I know some of your songs, a few of them. I'm a great judge of good music, so of course when I first heard your music, I knew it was brilliant and appreciated what a great band you were. Actually, that's not true at all. I ridiculed it.
No one ever likes it the first time they hear it, ever.
My husband's like, oh, the truckers, you gotta hear the truckers, greatest. I was like, I hate that country southern crap. That's just like the stuff I grew up listening to in Ohio. And then I started, anyway, so here's my question. I had the privilege of shaking Cooley's little baby soft hand at a concert in Baltimore. Does he really know anything?
Sure that was me?
Yes, I'm positive. Do you know jack shit about cars? Because I don't sense that hand's ever fixed under a hood before.
No, these
All
hands
right.
don't work.
You just know how to sing. You just write some real good songs. Thank you. This was a real pleasure. Thank you, Barb. We've loved it. We love your music. We love the documentary as well. Thank you.
But talk, you know, you guys do write a lot about cars. I'm sorry, we'll get over here. You guys do write a lot about cars. I mean, 350 heads on a 305 engine. I mean,
It is possible.
I know that. I know that. But I'm curious. I mean, you guys don't strike me as motorheads.
No, I mean, everybody likes cars. You know? And that's just, they're what, rock and roll. You write about cars, girls, booze.
Okay. All right, you got a question over here? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, two small questions and a comment. First, interested, Barb, where did you cross the path with the drive-by truckers? And Patterson, you talked about album covers. Do you have a favorite? And do you have one where you came across a cover and you thought, oh, this is great, and the band was like, oh, it sucks. And then the comment, I grew up on the south side of the Tennessee River in Decatur, and didn't know you guys until I heard about you guys from Bar, and I'm sorry about that because you guys have fantastic lyrics. And watching this movie put me in touch with a bunch of stuff from growing up that I never even thought about. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. Happens to be my next door neighbor, but that was not a plan.
If it was a plan, you shouldn't admit it.
No, it wasn't. I'll do the first one first because it is, for me anyway, certainly an important part of the story that I was kind of aware of the band and had known that they were sort of a DIY kind of group, and I thought that was really cool, which I read about when Southern Rock Opera came out. So I was meaning to check them out, but then my good friend Richard, to whom the film is dedicated, called me up one day and just said, run, do not walk, go listen to this band, do it now. And I'll just say the rest is true. Patterson, when you go ahead. The other part of the question.
What about
Album cover. Favorite?
London Calling is the greatest album cover ever. It's just the greatest. And because you look at it and you know it's just going to be a great album. I mean, goddamn, how could you even go wrong after that? And the fact that it isn't a letdown when you listen to it makes it even better. But it's the greatest cover ever. And if you can in one image crystallize what the record is supposed to sound like or mean to you, then you've got a great album cover.
Okay, I did two over there, so we're going to go over here. That way we can balance it out. Go ahead, sir.
Patterson, I got to tell you, I don't want to be too contrary, but the first time I heard you, I was hooked. Southern Rock Opera album, done deal. Saw you for the first time at Fletcher's on the Decoration Day tour, over. I mean, I was hooked right off the bat.
Bless you.
One of the things about your band that reeled me in was the sense of album rock that I grew up with. Zeppelin, Floyd, Stones, you know. And I'm wondering, you, Mike, if you both want to throw in on this, what is your opinion of where we're going in this digital download? I want 2 songs off that record, and I'll move on to this. You know, I got 3 minutes to give to you, as opposed to listening to a band tell a story, an album.
I just don't know how to do all that. I don't know. I still go to record stores, and that's why I so hope we can save a few of them, because when they're all gone, I'm going to have to learn how to download a record or something, and it's scary.
I think we have to learn how to work around that too. We have to find ways to make people want to hear the whole album. It's up to us, you know. I don't see it as a threat. I think it's a step in the right direction. Having a virtual product as well as the physical product, you know.